I've always said about Dabo Swinney, you got to realize this is a dude who grew up poor in Alabama, like the kind of poor that when he went to college, he shared a bed with his mother. He's a walk-on wide receiver who wound up getting playing time on a national championship team. He was going to go sell real estate, and then somebody says, hey, why don't you come in here to coaching, and then grinded his way to literally the top of his profession with one of the most unlikely juggernauts in college football history. You're not going to convince that man that he ever had it easier than anybody else because all he knows is how hard it was that he had it. So like when you try to explain to Dabo, like, hey, man, you know, black people get a tough shake. He's like, yeah, well, I got a tough shake, but me and Jesus, we in America, and look at what it was that we made happen. Like, that's the kind of guy that he is going to be. At the same time, what I think happens with him, though, is he's also a dude from the for real deal South. So it's not like he's going to be able to pretend as though he doesn't know about like day-to-day interactive racism that people have and deal with. And so this thing happens at his practice. And the coach, apparently, the way he says he heard the guy saying the N-word, and somehow in all his years of coaching, nobody told him the rules. They can say it. You can't say it, not even if you're trying to sound like them. But here he comes all over here, and he's like, oh, N-word in this. And it shook the players up, right? The player in question, the guy named DJ Greenlee, he said he eventually had to forgive, but it was a thing for him in the moment when it happens. The guy that outed him about this is a kid named Kenyon Tuttle. His father played at Clemson. He put this out on Twitter, and the point that he made was, Dabo didn't even make the dude apologize to the whole team. They said he apologized to his position group, and then in a statement he put out a couple of days ago, he apologizes to the whole team. If you are Dabo Swinney and this is your squad, how do you not understand and see your players and recognize that this is a thing that's going to be important to them? And if you run a shop that's based on accountability, how can that guy then not be accountable in that moment? To me, that reads like somebody who intentionally puts his head in the sand when matters of race come up because he just doesn't want to deal with the trouble. You can't be the man that you purport to be and be the man that you are if you just want to avoid trouble. If you want to talk about Jesus all the time, that is fantastic because I think he does that for legitimately positive reasons. But you can't keep telling us about Jesus if you're not willing to stand for something because it makes me wonder how much you're really listening to Jesus.
We're always so quick to assign the honor of this title of leaders of young men to college football coaches. We do it all the time, and we lift them up as these figures that can help lead these people towards the correct way to live their life. What we're finding is that like we never actually hold them accountable for that praise that we give them and that they accept every time it's heaped upon them. And this is one of those instances where if you're going to be a leader of young men and a significant percentage of those young men are black men, then it's your responsibility to understand their experience in life and know enough to be able to handle a situation like this, not in this way. The fact that it took the kid himself to come to the coach and let him know how he felt about that, and now they're calling him out 3 years later on the internet, that means that these kids weren't led by Dabo. They were led by other leaders within their community because something had to give them the confidence to be the people who stand up to a big college football program and make their voices heard to speak out against an injustice that was felt. That coach using that word is also just showing that Dabo isn't even leading his coaching staff. He's not making sure that everybody is doing the work to make sure they're aware of what's acceptable and what isn't acceptable on a basic level. I know every white person has a different line in their head that signifies the border towards where they would, if they crossed that line, they would then become racist. And I know a lot of people think that line is saying the N-word. And though those people are wrong, it's the most basic line. And this coach crossed it and thought he crossed it in a special way. He's clearly said that he's sorry, but I think it speaks volumes to how much we expect of college coaches or just say that they are able to do and then never hold them accountable for actually doing it.